Listen, talking is not communicating. You can talk all you want, but that does not mean you're communicating. During conflict, interpersonal conflict, there are things that many of us need to learn, because we think we're communicating during those times, but we're actually creating more emotional distance with our friends, with our partners, with our families. One of the most powerful things we overlook is the focus on intention when actually somebody's communicating impact to you. When someone comes and says, hey, I felt this from a conversation we had, or from your action, or whatever it may be, many of us, because we've not learned to emotionally regulate and communicate properly, what we hear between our ears is, I'm being judged. So what we end up doing is we end up defending our intention. We end up explaining what we intended, what we meant, how we've been misunderstood. And what we don't realize is that very act of trying to explain our intention becomes an emotional block. It becomes an emotional block because what should have been prioritized first in that moment is the impact of the action on the person who's communicating their feelings. Hear me well. Impact does not take away your intention. Your intention does also not take away the impact. But the most important thing we need to do is keep the order, the right order. We attend to, we respond to the impact of our actions on our friends, on our partner, before trying to explain our intention. Because if we prioritize explaining our intention, we have centered our needs to be understood and decentered the person who has bravely, courageously approached you to say, hey, I feel hurt. Does that make sense? Communication involves putting impact ahead of intention, especially during conflict resolution. The second thing is responsiveness. When you've now heard the impact of your actions, regardless of your intentions, the second most important thing to do is to respond to that. Because listen, care that lands isn't care that is spoken. I remember many years ago, I used to have a friend who was so good at giving the most empathic words in situations, right? The bestest, therapeutic, I'm so sorry you felt that way, or that must be really difficult. But I would still leave those conversations feeling something in my nervous system. Why? That friend was good at speaking empathy but not being empathic. Do you know you can say, yeah, I'm sorry. But actually, that does more damage than someone seeing and sensing. Your nervous system is the oldest part of you. Your nervous system knows when you have absorbed the sorry, when the sorry is genuine. Someone may not have the words to articulate it, but when the sorry is felt, it's more powerful than when the sorry is heard. I'm not saying don't use the words I'm sorry, but make sure that you are emotionally responding, that you offer care that lends. You do not become somebody that speaks empathy but fails to feel empathic. I want to feel the warmth from how you present yourself, more than hearing you say, I'm sorry. That's why a lot of people say things like, but I've already apologized. I apologized twice. Why is the person bringing it up? It is because their nervous system does not feel the connection with that apology. So let me repeat. What are the key fundamental pillars? We need to be emotionally attuned. Put yourself to the side. Learn to regulate your emotions enough so that you don't jump in, become defensive before someone finishes explaining how they're feeling. Number 2, be responsive. Be emotionally responsive to what you are hearing. Number 3, offer care that lands. Be empathic before you speak empathy. Number 4, the clinch. Never prioritize your intention above the impact the actions had on another person. If you start to do that, especially during conflict resolution, trust me, the end of your conflict resolution will be marked with even more emotional closeness and intimacy. Because if done right, conflict resolution paves way to more deeper, richer emotional intimacy.